Mr. Lumko Mtimde is the Chief Executive Officer of the Media Development and Diversity Agency. He's on the line, MDDA. A very good morning to you, Mr. Mtimde.
Good morning, Kolani, and good morning to the listeners.
And thank you for your time. Also on the other line, I have Anton Harbour. He's the Caxton Professor of Journalism. Professor Harbour, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for your time. Nick Dawes is the chairperson of SANEF, but also is our outgoing chief editor-in-chief, of the Mail and Guardian. Nick, good morning. You in Thailand this morning?
Yes, I'm at the World Editors Forum in Bangkok.
All right. Well, interesting. Maybe I should start with you. World Editors Forum, but also SANEF has a view on this pending buyout of this Irish-owned independent news and media SA. What is the view of SANEF?
SANEF's view is simply that, we would like to see a really well-informed and engaged public debate about both this deal and media ownership more broadly. So we would like to know more about the consortium that is buying the independent group, and we'd like to know more about their plans. But broadly speaking, of course, we welcome investment in the media space at a time that's been quite difficult for the press. And I think we're on record as calling for more diversity in media ownership. So, we don't have a particular issue with Dr. Surve or with the consortium as far as we know it, but we would like to see more information in the public domain so that the conversation can be better informed.
And I'm looking at a press release by Sekunjalo just a couple of days ago. One of the things is that they are saying is that SIM and the sellers have a specific commercial transaction with confidentiality agreements and transaction timetable, which must be respected as in all such commercial transactions. Are you not putting undue pressure on Sekunjalo Independent Media Consortium to reveal the details of the commercial transaction here, Nick?
Well, that has been what they've said. They've said that the Irish sellers don't want them to reveal the names of their partners before, I think it's the 18th of June.
Yeah.
Of course, some of those names are already known. So I don't really understand why it's okay that we know the names of three or so of the investors, but not of the rest. And I think, Dr. Surve has said that they will make known all of the names, so obviously we welcome that. We don't want the discussion to happen after everything is already fait accompli. So our preference would be for the consortium to be as open as possible, as early as possible. And, that applies to media ownership in general. But in this case, of course, there is a transaction happening. It's underway. And I think the discussion could be a lot more healthy if there was maximum openness from all sides.
Professor Harbour, why should South Africa be interested in who constitutes this consortium?
Because newspapers are a public trust in many ways. They're very important in our society and in our politics. They are sources of power and influence. And there's a great public interest in knowing who and how they're controlled, and whether there's agendas and party affiliations or independents involved, whether they're local or international owners. The independent group is the second biggest newspaper group in the country. And I think it's natural that people should want to know, as with any, it's a private institution, but it has a public trust. It has a particular public role. And I think it's true of any organization like that we want to know as much as possible about it.
But again, I'm looking at the statement I've just mentioned now. It goes on to say, SIM wishes to state its concern that it is being subjected to unusual scrutiny in some public quarters in relation to this transaction when there has been no such scrutiny when others have acquired competitor media groups. How do you respond to that then, Professor?
Well, I don't think it's true. I think that when Times Media Group changed hands a number of times, there was often scrutiny and debate. When the Mail and Guardian changed hands, it was discussed by the staff and by the public and by its readers. People care about these things. When Pearson sold its share of Business Day and Financial Mail back to South Africa, there was discussion about the meaning of this. So I don't think it's true to say it's unusual. I think it's entirely predictable to be expected. But rather unfortunately, the level of secrecy around it has stirred up controversy, and I think that's unfortunate.
Mr. Mtimde, are you worried about the level of secrecy?
Kolani, I agree with the principle of what Nick and Prof is raising, which is transparency so that we all know and we're able to locate whatever transaction in the broader context of the transformation and the agenda of promoting media diversity. But I think we need to also respect the processes. All these, they follow certain processes, be it competition commission processes or internal processes and so forth. And as far as I've been following this process, Sekunjalo has indicated that it is indeed going to reveal who the consortium is, and I think we will get the information, and I don't think, therefore, there is necessarily secrecy. Perhaps we all want to know sooner rather than later, which is fair, but I don't think we need to then declare that there is secrecy in this process.
Because again, and I'm not gonna, Nick is gonna make his point. He has just mentioned that part of what needs to happen is that the debate needs to happen now, not later. So we need to know now, so that we are not caught off guard. In other words, so that we don't have a debate after the transaction has been concluded.
Yes, certainly, and I think there is that debate. It is taking place. It is taking place before the Competition Commission, and as we are having the debate now. But I think we also need to, because I think Prof. Cited a lot of other examples of transactions that have taken place, and I don't think we have put undue pressure in any of those transactions. We've had the similar debates that we're having. So let us debate. Let us contextualize what is it that we want to achieve. I think one of the things that have kind of spoiled the debate is arguments that this transaction may threaten media freedom, and that is ill-informed, and certainly it worries other people, because it begins to ask a question, why? And why was that question not asked when other transactions were taking place? So we need to be consistent and approach this debate within the broader context of what transformational changes need to happen in the media in South Africa.
The General of the SACP, Dr. Blade Nzimande, is called. And let's go straight to him then. He's on the line for us this morning. Dr. Nzimande, thank you for your call. Good morning.
Olani, good morning. Thank you for taking my call. I just want to raise two things quickly.
Yes, please.
The first one is that I'm concerned why our statement is being completely ignored in your program. We issued a very lengthy statement about this matter yesterday. In fact, we are the only ones practically who have responded on this matter. But we are not invited to participate in your program. We think it's very unfair. That's the first thing I want to raise. The second thing is just to indicate that our view as the SACP is that this whole hoo-ha is really about people, those who are opposed to this, including Professor Harper. It's a pity that he has left. They have no interest in the transformation of the media in this country. They want to maintain the status quo. The questions they are raising, they have never raised them in relation to the monopoly by Caxton Group, by Media 24. Secondly, SANEF is raising these matters about what Iqbal should do with the editors and all that. Yet SANEF has been quiet. Peter Bruce in the Business Day has been firing very senior black editors. Similarly, ETV, black journalists are leaving in droves. Times Media, they've been same restructuring. To us as the SACP, what we're saying in our statement, the stance by SANEF does not represent the views of the majority of the people, even in the media. They are unfortunately representing the interests of a white small elite that owns the media in this country, and also that's dominant in the editorial rooms of our print media.
Right, Dr.
We would like to really make this point, Paula, and it's a pity that we're not participating in this debate, because we've been consistent in raising these matters of ownership in this country.
We'll certainly discuss the issue of what happened to your statement and why not your invite. But let me just pick up on some of the issues that you raise, because clearly you're mentioning publications and editors like Peter Bruce, and you say they've fired senior black editors. Like which one?
Like who's the gentleman who was the editor, Tolan, of the Financial Mail?
Banem Tomboti.
Yes. He left a bitter man. That is well known. And Peter Bruce, over and above that, writes a column when he was advertising, when he became publisher of Business Day, and he was wanting an editor for the Business Day. He says bluntly, anyone who believes that the state has a role in the economy mustn't apply to be editor of the Business Day. Now, there's an ideological statement from media that is trying to present itself as impartial. So these are the points that we are actually making, that it looks like if it's white editors who are firing journalists and black editors. Sharon Kokele, for instance, is living a very bitter man in Business Day. He has actually been saying these things about the fact that he is very happy that he's moving to another place. Unfortunately, we don't think that there is going to be much difference. This issue is a problem. Silence must be challenged. In fact, as the SACP would like, through your show, Kolani, if it's acceptable to challenge SANEF to a full debate.
All right. Oh, fine. I can organize that. I'm more than happy to organize a full debate on some of the issues, because then there are specific publications that you're mentioning and specific people, and perhaps they have, in fact, they do have a right to respond, so that we can have a debate around that.
Absolutely.
But I do thank you very much for giving me a call and raising some of the issues that you're raising, and we'll certainly be getting back to you and the SACP to take these matters further. Dr. Bladen Zimande, thank you. The SACP Secretary General on the line. Mike in Newlands, good morning.
Hello there. Good morning. Thanks so much. Hi there, Skivani. Two things quickly. I can't speak on behalf of the show, but I can say that most South Africans are really not interested in what Bladen and the Communist Party say. They're not an elected party. Why on earth would they be expected to be invited into a debate? They don't even have one seat in Parliament. So I think.
Well, I suppose they would say the same about you. You don't have a seat in Parliament, but you have a say on the show. So it's everyone has a say on this show.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly absolutely right. But I mean, he speaks as if the Communist Party is an elected representative of the people. It's certainly not. It's just a grouping of people. That I would like us to just make our opinions, because I don't think that we should interrogate individuals' right to air their views on this show or not. I think that every South African from all walks of life, whether they're part of a political party or not, have a right on this show. Skivani, I'll take you. I'll bow to that, and I'll debate on your next show. My point I just wanted to quickly make is that, given the corruption, the fact that the New Age is funded by the Guptas are in bed with our president, and then we have Sekunjalo, who is at this stage not releasing the figures, but agreed to do so at a later stage. The worry is not who's going to control the press, but where the money is coming from. And this is what scares me as a South African, and I'm sure a lot of people, is that we need to know that it's clean money. We have the situation a bit like Sanral, where we are being invited to partake in this thing, but to this day, we still don't know where the backers are, and we are presented with books with blacked-out pages. That's my concern, and I'm sure many others' concern is, let's find out where the money is coming from, and if it's money that cannot, as long as it cannot be traced back to us, the taxpayer, then I welcome it. I think it's fantastic.
That's Mike in Newlands. Thank you. Let's go to Naeem in Alberton. Hello, Naeem.
Hello, good morning. Greetings to you and your guests. This whole controversy smacks of double standards and shifting goalposts. It's to protect the dominant interest group, what Aubrey Mashiki calls a cultural majority. Let me make 3 points.
Yeah.
Firstly, no controversy previously actually generated so much attention that it had to be debated on the forum of at 8 or the after 8 debate or something. Secondly, till now, suspicion of media agendas haven't been raised, as if Murdoch and others, they don't have media agendas. Only when it's some other ethnic group that owns the media, then suddenly media have agendas. And then there's this issue of, confidentiality agreements. Like